The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 7. This verse and the next 8 is so popular, even those who don't know anything about the about the various, you can say, philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita. They somehow they have memorized these verses. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanartha sambhavami yuge yuge. O scion of the Bharata dynasty, whenever there is a decline of dharma and an increase of vice, adharma, then I embody myself. I am born. For the protection of the pious, for the destruction of the evildoers, and to establish virtue, I manifest myself in every age. So even small children, you ask them, you know any sloka, any verse, sorry, of the Bhagavad Gita? Yes, I know. And they will rattle off these two verses. Arjuna had asked a question. You were born a few years ago. How come you were the one who says, I taught this yoga to the first divine born? And the Lord says, the many births you have taken and me. I remember all of them. You don't remember anything. And then this is verse, whenever virtue or dharma, you can see, declines, and adharma rises or increases, then I embody myself. Abhyutthanam adharmasya. Now, we'll have to get into a little of the doctrine of what is an avatar. And the doctrine has been made more easier to understand because of Sri Ramakrishna. We must always understand one incarnation on one avatar explains the previous avatars and also the future avatars. It's not that everything is over now. No, in the future there will be plenty of avatars. Why should you limit everything? Why should you limit God to only your ideas about what an avatar is? So there is a kind of similarity about the descent. In the earliest, you can say, Vedic age, which is now they say that the Vedic religion was the most ancient religion. People have been writing about it. The most ancient religion. In that Vedic age, there was the concept of avatar was absent. But the concept of a rishi was present. And we had, in all the Vedic hymns, you have rishis as, you can say, seers of mantras. All these various hymns, which are called hymns, which are called stotras, and which are called suktas, all these mantras, were rediscovered by the rishis. That is why the rishi is called the seer of mantras. In their deepest meditation, they see these mantras. And they articulate it through that language, and it becomes an oral tradition. So to be a rishi is not a kind of a ordinary thing. Sri Ramakrishna will say, so much they practiced. They used to leave the hermitage and go down in the deep forest and meditate the whole day and return in the evening. The ideal for India for a very long time, and still is, the ideal of a rishi. Swami Vivekananda says, you have to be a rishi. Another definition of rishi is Krantadarshi, one who knows the past, present, and the future. This person is like omniscient. So in the earliest Vedic age, we had the concept of a rishi. There was also the concept of a apta, one who has attained. Very important. What attained what? The highest. Okay. There was also the concept of adhikari. There were some people who came down tremendous kind of spiritual authority. People used to simply get stunned and obey. There was one Swami of our order, Swami Sharvananda. Whenever he used to enter into a public place or in a kind of you go by bus or train, when he used to enter, people simply used to stand up. What? Why? They don't know. They ask him why. Suddenly, we recognize somebody who is exalted. That was what it is. So these were the aptas, the adhikaris, those ones who had that spiritual authority. Later in the Sankhya philosophy, we had something called Prakriti Laya Purusha. This is still towards the end of the Vedic age. What is Prakriti Laya Purusha? Laya is to merge, lean. In what? In Prakriti, in nature. There were these great, you can say, spiritual giants who out of that compassion in order to do good to the world. You see, they are not the small time guys. Let's do good to the world. Let's join some social service organization or something. No, not that. They want to do good to the world in an immense way, in a kind of a universal way. They used to delay their liberation, their merging into Brahman. What they used to do at the final stage, before they used to merge in it, they used to stall their journey, as it were, and wait. This later on became the concept of the Bodhisattva. And Buddha often is saying you're drawn down back to the world and its suffering because of his compassionate heart. So these great ones, they used to merge in nature. That is what. When they merged in nature, they, as it were, went into a kind of a sleep. Deep, kind of a sleep, which we will be discussing in our Sunday talk. So tune in. It's a vast subject. And at the beginning of a new cycle, they used to emerge out of that sleep, as it were, out of nature, and they used to attain all the powers of nature. They used to get identified with the powers of nature. It was seen that they exhibited tremendous knowledge, super divine knowledge, love and compassion and renunciation and everything. It was a kind of a tremendous, you can say, powers that these people exhibited. People used to look at them. How did they get this? Just. So, they couldn't explain it. The Sankhya philosophers also actually classed these Prakriti Laya Purushas in two ways. One was, they used to say the Kalpa Purusha, the Kalpa Ishvara, Kalpa Niyanta Ishvara. That is the Lord of a particular cycle of creation. That person used to become had that lordship of the entire cycle of creation. Okay. The others were Ishvara Kotis. They also had powers, tremendous powers, but not as powerful as the first category. It's very amazing that Sri Ramakrishna used to call 6 of his first disciples and later Swami Shivananda, the 7th, as Ishvara Kotis. They are eternally free. They come down to do good to the world. They are born free. They continue to be free, and they are not of the category of ordinary souls. They are super souls, if you can say. So these were the second category of Ishvara Kotis. In the first categories, this Yuga Ishvara. That's why Swami Vivekananda says in his hymn to Sri Ramakrishna, Jrim with the Yuga Ishvara, Jaga Ishvara, Yoga Sahai. That you have manifested yourself as the, you can say, avatar of this cycle. So the Lord is the Lord of this cycle. It's just, it's very difficult for us to kind of understand. We'll try to, what exactly is this state of an avatar? Because here when the Lord says, O scion of the Bharata dynasty, whenever there is a decline of virtue and increase of vice, then I do manifest myself. How do I manifest myself? Yeah, we'll come down to it. So these Ishvara Kotis and this Kalpa Ishvara, by identifying themselves with Prakriti, with nature, they get all the powers. You see, Sri Ramakrishna one time told Swami Vivekananda, you see, by practicing all these yogas, I have attained all these Ashtasiddhis, 8 yogic powers. These yogic powers are not ordinary powers. They are powers that are powerful enough to control nature. The yogi is not kind of swayed by nature at all. He has power over nature. He can transform things, he can modify things, he can break things, he can create things. Yes. So Swami Vivekananda says, will it help me realize God? I say, no, it won't. It will help you in your work. No, then I don't want it. And Sri Ramakrishna was pleased. These Ashtasiddhis, Anima, Lagima, Mahima, Garima, Ishitva, Vashitva, Yatra Kama Ishitva. Ishitva, the full control over nature. Forget becoming small like an atom or becoming heavy like the earth. Or if you want to touch the moon, you can touch the moon from here. All these kind of power. But you become like a kind of like an avatar with tremendous power. All avatars, people now claim, oh, he's an avatar of this, he's an avatar of that, and I'm so and so, I'm an avatar. These fools don't know what's an avatar. The avatars always has these powers of yoga powers. And these other, you can say, nidhis, they are called. Hanuman had these other nidhis. However, they are completely in control of nature. They are not like ordinary people. We are submerged under even a small part of nature. A small virus can take us off. See how great we are. So the avatar has this tremendous powers. The first class. The second class also, they are also kind of powerful. So these extraordinary powers used to be exhibited. Now this was towards a later, you can say, Vedic age, as I said. After that age, we had something called the mythological age, the Pauranic age. The teachings of the Vedas, in order to make it accessible to a larger area of people, and you can say the people who were coming in, people who were not so bright enough to undertake the tremendous discipline required for Vedic studies, because you have to devote half your life to studying the Vedas and practicing. But how do you spread those Vedic ideas to the people? So they bought those Vedic ideals and teachings in story form. And that's how it proliferated. Now, when the moment you have these stories, they have to have a central figure. You see, every story has to have a hero. Otherwise, what's the use of a story? There's always a central character. And in India, it was always, the central character was always a spiritual character. Who is interested in these kind of winning dominions and over others and this and that? It's a spiritual. Our heroes were all spiritual heroes. And then they found certain people with those tremendous powers. You see, what happens is, as you keep on going through your spiritual practices, step by step by step by step, you ascend the ladder of spirituality and you reach the highest point, the Nirguna Brahman. That is the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, or the absolute Brahman. And there were some who used to descend from there down. They used to descend and they used to come down. But now they have the tremendous knowledge of that absolute Sat and Chit and Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss. At the same time, they have descended, as it were, and living in this world. But their experience of the world is not confined just to their body. Their experience is now confined to the whole world, the Saguna Brahman. You see, you reach there, the Nirguna Brahman, the absolute Brahman. And then you descend down. You come down to the relative aspect of Brahman, Saguna Brahman. So when you come down, you see your body as part of this whole world, and you experience this world. Their experiences were experiences of the world as a whole. They used to their minds were not that old individual minds. Their minds were the cosmic minds. Their body was a cosmic body. Is it true? Oh, yes. An avatar, whenever we have the concept of an avatar being spoken of, and that's what becomes very easy to understand. Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated in his life what an avatar really is. So Sri Ramakrishna, through his tremendous practices, spiritual practices, ascended to the state of existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute, and descended. In fact, he was commanded to stay in Bhavamukha and not to merge in the absolute. Here we have a very clear idea of what an avatar, what we are speaking of. And this is demonstrated in his life. This has been discussed extensively by Swami Sharadananda in his The Great Master. He got the command 3 times, stay in Bhavamukha. Now what is this Bhavamukha? It is the threshold between the absolute and the relative creation. This absolute, that avatar at that stage, that avatar is aware of that absolute state. At the same time, that avatar is identified with the cosmic mind. Everything that arises in the cosmic mind arises, as it were, in his or her mind. So that avatar identifies itself with the whole of creation also. And this makes sense because there are many verses in the Bhagavad Gita which, if you look at it from the standpoint of Krishna as an individual person, it makes no sense at all. What is he talking about? And then when Arjuna says, I want to see your cosmic form, and then in the Vibhuti Yoga, in the 11th chapter, Sri Krishna showed him his cosmic form. That cosmic form is his real form. And this is what Krishna, that cosmic form, has taken and is appearing as Krishna. That's why I do manifest myself. I manifest myself. Whoa. How do? This is how. That great avatar who is one with the cosmic mind. And what's the cosmic mind? The cosmic mind is the mind of God. Mind. So that person identifies itself as God. And that's why he is called God. That's why Christ says, I think, those who have seen the Son have seen the Father. How do you explain this thing? It's only through Vedanta that you can explain these things. And here, Sri Ramakrishna also, and the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna will say, to see the disciples itself, to see Raja Maharaj is to see Sri Ramakrishna. To see Sri Ramakrishna itself is to see the divine. This is the descent of the divine. It's a tremendous science. Last time we were talking about how difficult it is to explain how this avatar comes and why he comes. It's just the need for specific avatars came, and the first avatar, according to Hindu mythology, was the fish. And then we had something like the tortoise, and then we had the boar, and then we had, you can say, half animal, half man, half lion, half man. And then we had the dwarf man, the hominid. We see evolution, the avatar following, as it were, the course of evolution, evolving at particular times in the evolution of the universe with that specific form that was required. In the earliest periods of evolution, you don't come as a man. as the human form. Because there were no human forms. What were there? There were fishes. Oh yeah, good. There it is. And then slowly, slowly we come to the higher and higher and higher aspects of this. Then we have Rama, and then we have Krishna, and then we have Buddha. This is how an avatar comes, plays his part, and leaves. So let's come back. Every Vedic teaching had to be made into a story to be accessible to a larger area of people. Now, the central character of every spiritual story, or the rishi, and all this, you always find in all our stories, you will have rishis coming in. But there was some, you can say, soul was so tremendous in their power of love and compassion and renunciation and knowledge that they transcended the ordinary concepts of even rishis. And stories were then wrapped around them. These were the great incarnations, the human realm, Rama and Krishna. So here we have. So Sri Ramakrishna say, the avatar is for the devotees. The jnanis, for them there's no avatar. You know what happens? It's very difficult to recognize an avatar. Sri Ramakrishna said only 10 rishis recognized Rama as an avatar. The others said, we know you as the son of Dasharatha, Rama's father. And Rama smiled, he goes away. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, only a few of his disciples recognized him as an avatar. Not only that, there was a great Pandit, Padmalochan. When it was told to him, he was supposed to come for a debate to Dakshineshwar. He couldn't because of ill health. When he was told the conclusions of a host of these Pandits, that, they said all the expressions and all the characteristics of an avatar are found in Sri Ramakrishna, and they declared him, he's an avatar. Because there are certain characteristics found in the scripture that a person who claims should manifest. So Padmalochan, the Pandit Padmalochan says, they've just called you an avatar? No, you are the source from where all avatars come. There it is. It's a tremendous statement. So he is a source. So that state is called Bhavamukha. Sri Ramakrishna was in that state. He appears to us as a human being. Don't get fooled with that. That is just a front. That is just a kind of a display window in a big shop, or a big shopping mall. You have certain things displayed out. That's the kind of display. He is at the threshold of the absolute and the relative. Last Wednesday, we discussed a little of this. It's the state of Bhavamukha. It is only such souls that can stand there, as it were, on the threshold. You can see both ways, this side and that side. So this is an avatar. So whenever Sri Krishna has used the word I, it is the eye of God. It is the eye of God also, and the eye of God, not a small eye. When we say I, we mean that small eye. God is identified with all the eyes, all, everything. The totality of asmita, the totality of sense of I. That's why he says, this is my creation. That is what. So Sri Ramakrishna is here. It is a state of bhavamukha. He is behaving just like us. And why has Sri Ramakrishna has come here when the Bhagavad Gita says, telling Arjuna, O scion of the Bharata dynasty, whenever there is a decline of virtue and an increase of vice, then I manifest myself for the protection of the pious and destruction of the evildoers, and to establish virtue, I manifest myself in every age. What does it mean? There, when you look around this world, the first thing that happens is this world is bereft of God. Where's God? We see the world. And then you are told that there is a God somewhere. The Hindus say God is here within and outside also everywhere. Some say he is there, some say he is there, some say he is in the highest heaven, some say he is everywhere. We have been hearing about there is a God. Where? Where is this? But then our perception, our experience does not show us anything about anything divine in this. So there's a doubt. And this doubt is like a ferocious, you can say, demon. It eats you. Like Sri Ramakrishna, that's why he's called the slayer of the demon of doubt. So there's a doubt. Does God exist? Who will tell you that? That guy who's God will tell you, I exist. I'm here. You may not see me, but I'm here. Really, I won't take your words fully. Well, you won't take my words fully, and the avatar, by the tremendous attractive power of his vibhuti, attracts you and opens your insight into what he really is. And that's why you find Swami Vivekananda first doubting Sri Ramakrishna, saying, though he who was Rama and he who was Krishna is now Ramakrishna. There. He's telling him, you still doubt? I am. So God is coming and telling, I am God. Well, only God can say, I am God. If somebody else comes and say, you see, I am God. They'll say, hey, the guy is office rocker. So God comes and tells. But still there's a doubt. And that is where it comes to. Attracts you and destroys that doubt. That's why in one of the hymns to Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda says, Samshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram. He has come with a great weapon to destroy the demon of doubt. Jrimbita Yuga Ishvara Jaga Ishvara. He is the Lord of this age, the avatar of this age, the Lord of the cycle, the Lord of this creation. Kalpa, yeah. But really, he was so ordinary looking, and what are you making him into? That is where the Lord throws a kind of a divine maya around him and descends with that and manifests so that we can get identified and we can relate to that avatar. We can now proceed to the next verse. I think we've got more or less a few things. Bharata, he's telling, Bharata is the name, was the ancient name of a clan, which is now the name of India. India, that is Bharata. So he was from the clan of Bharata, scion of the Bharata dynasty. Bha is knowledge, to shine. Rata is to be devoted to. Those in ancient India, these people were devoted to the cultivation of knowledge. And what is that? The supreme knowledge of the Atman. That was what was cultivated. So he was of this kind of tradition. He's reminding him, you are the scion of the Bharata dynasty. You're behaving like a kind of a dullard. What is this? So there he says, whenever there's a decline, glanir bhavati bharata, of what? Dharma. And an increase of adharma, abhyutthanam adharmasya, where adharma, where there is a, what is dharma and adharma? Wherever there is dharma, there has to be adharma. Both these keep us balanced, both keep the world alive. But if there is an increase of adharma, then it has to be countered. And that countering can be done not by you and me, but by somebody with divine powers comes. That's why you say, Tad Atmanam Srijamyaham. I project myself, Srij. I create myself, I manifest myself. For the protection of the pious, Paritranaya Sadhunam. For the protection of those who are good. And for the destruction of the evildoers. And for establishing dharma, I manifest myself in every age. So this is a thank God. We have somebody to look after us, who's keeping a watch, keeping a look, because is aware of this whole process. Whenever there's a need, the Lord manifests. We don't need to mope and cry and, oh, what now? Who will look after us? This world has gone to dogs and gone to ruin. Finished, it's over. The Lord manifests in every age. And that's the reason why it has been done in the past, it will be done in the future, it will be a continuous process. There are people who say there's only one incarnation and that is that. Finish. The be all and end all of all religion is that avatar manifested at point 1 and then disappeared at point 2. There. And that is the whole of religion within that period. Okay, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, what's that? The earth is billions of years old. The universe is billions and billions and billions of years old. And this is just a cycle. The cycles have been on. That's what cycles mean. A continuation. And this universe is not so simple as it looks. We are seeing this universe only from one level of perception. There are all these spiritual realms, all these subtle realms that we don't even know of. Why? Because our minds have become so gross, we can see only the gross world. The mind has become subtle, we can see those subtle worlds. When the mind becomes spiritual, we'll be able to see those spiritual worlds. So, that entity comes in every age to balance things up. Now, when that entity descends, that's what an avatar means, descend from the nirguna down to the saguna. The next verse is 9. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjuna. Here there is a distinct means shown to all of us for liberation. What's liberation? To be merged in that entity. Now he says, one who thus knows truly the divine birth and actions of mind. Because the Lord is born and the Lord behaves like a human being, but is actually, it's divine. This birth is divine, his actions are divine. Janma and karma, my birth and my works are divine. And those who know it in truth, really they know it completely. Evam yo veti tatvata. Then what happens? Tyaktva deham punarjanma. When that person, when people like us, we give up our body after knowing that the actions of and the birth, etc. of the Lord are all divine. That's why Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are all divine. The incarnations teach divine things. So all these teachings are divine. People are wondering how they are born. Why do they born? Their births are all miraculous. In the case of Sri Ramakrishna, his mother Chandramani Devi saw a flood of luminous, you can say, golden light emerging from the Shiva temple, from the Shiva Linga, and entering into her. And she fell down unconscious, and she felt that light has entered into her, and she is now pregnant. Sri Ramakrishna's father, Kshudiram, in Gaya, he had a vision of Vishnu saying, I'm pleased with your devotion, I'll be born as your child. No, 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 I'm so poor, I won't be able to afford. Imagine. Yeah. So don't worry about that. I'll accept whatever you offer, you don't worry about that. So, okay. So there you have Vishnu, here you have Shiva. All miraculous. In the case of Rama, in the birth of Krishna, a long list of avatars. In the birth of Buddha, every birth has been miraculous, divine. Their works and everything has been divine. Their teachings have been divine. If we know it in truth, one who thus knows truly my divine birth and actions does not get rebirth after casting off the body. That one attains me, O Arjuna. So, what's the road to liberation for us? By knowing then avatar as divine, as his birth. And that's when you study the life of every avatar, you see that divinity manifest. We'll stop here for today. It was a bit heavy, but it was necessary for us to understand what an avatar is. I have just spoken just a little of that secret, that last secret I was telling you about, that the scriptures speak about, the secret of an avatar. So there are many aspects to this secret. Today we have taken just a little of it so that we can clear our understanding of what an avatar is. We will take the next verse, the 10th verse, next Thursday. In the meantime, make an announcement. As you know, on Saturday we have an annual general meeting of the Vedanta Society of Southern California. All members are requested to join us on Zoom software. It will be an online, you can say, meeting because of this pandemic. On Sunday,
What times are we?
Saturday, it's morning, 10 o'clock. It's meant for the members. And others also can join in if email has been sent to you, the link has been sent. And on Sunday, we have lucid awakening. Lucidly awake. The topic I will be speaking on. We have discussed certain aspects of it today. I will be taking it in extension on Sunday. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu.